So greetings and welcome back to the studio. My name is Peter Updike. This is the Wild Treasures of an Outdoorsman YouTube channel, where we talk about hunting and fish and all things connected. I did a video last week, how to become a better bow hunter. It's a personal study. I do it every summer and try and brainstorm and think of new ways to improve my chances if I go bow hunting for white-tailed deer and wild hogs early on in the fall during the archery season. And I shared a little bit of my thoughts with you guys, and one was in regard to a 3D target. I went out and I purchased a 3D target to teach myself how to aim at a living creature, a white-tailed deer. You probably saw the video, and I made the comment that I went and I spent $200 on a 3D Glendale target and thought it was a pretty good deal. And yeah, I was glad I bought it. It's probably the second 3D target that I ever had. I had the other one maybe, I don't know, 10 years before I shot it all up, and it just wouldn't stand any longer. And I went and purchased a new one. But doing so and making that video made me think about something else, and that is not everyone can afford to go out and spend $200 on a target. And I thought a little more about that through the week and kind of considered where I came from and what I spent early on and how I got into the bow hunting lifestyle, archery, and the money that I spent and the money that I didn't spend. And there might be somebody out there, Updike, how can I afford to go out and buy a 3D target for $200 when I have trouble just buying arrows or buying a bow? I went into the bow shop and they're $500, $600, $700, $800. And I don't think I can afford to go bow hunting. And I thought I'd make a video and tell you there's good news. And that good news is you can afford to go bow hunting. Of course, if you have a house payment and children and responsibilities and on a fixed income, yeah, I get it, all right? And I apologize for expecting you to go out and spend $200 on a 3D target if you have other things you need to, spend your money on. And you always need to make your car payment. You always need to make your house payment. So bow hunting might seem to be out of reach for some. So I thought I'd do a little study on helping someone on a budget become a bow hunter. We're talking about someone that might be younger, like in their early 20s. I want to go bow hunting, but how can I ever afford to do it? Well, there'll be some of these ideas you'll be more suited to explore than I would be. But I've got a few ideas on what I did when I was in my early 20s bow hunting. In my teenage years especially, had limited resources, had very little. I did not belong to a hunting family. My daddy didn't hunt, and yeah, the archery equipment that I acquired was inexpensive and just a little bit better than maybe a toy, right? So when I was 17, 18 years old starting out, yeah, this is where this video comes in, and I'm gonna share some thoughts with you. Now, if you can't afford to go out and buy a brand new bow, what's the alternative? The alternative is buy yourself a good used recurve bow on eBay. I've got one right here. I'm gonna show it to you. This is a Ben Pearson. I think it's a 60-pound bow. It depends on how far back you can pull it, I reckon. I really don't know a whole lot about these. But this is a Ben Pearson. This is a Cougar. It's a 750. I guess it's a 50-pound bow. And yeah, I've had this a lot of years, and I hunted with it. It's got a new string on it that I put on there, I don't know, 25 years ago. I went and got a brand new string made for it. And yeah, it's very practical, and it is very lethal. Yeah, you can Man, you can feel the tension in that thing. You can buy a bow like this, maybe not this exact bow, but a bow just like this one on eBay. I saw 3 of them for less than $100. So if you're wondering, a recurve. There's a whole family of traditional archers just waiting to accept you into their family if you'd be so inclined not to buy a cam bow and buy a recurve. So if you don't have a bow and you want to go bow hunting, you may want to think about a recurve, okay? And of course, you can shoot the same arrows out of a recurve that you shoot out of a cam bow that you can buy. I shoot, these are carbon arrows, but they're stiff, heavy carbon arrows. These are gold tip. Hunter gold tip with a 250 spine with 225 grains up front. And these are great arrows. They're kind of expensive. Where I found the bows on eBay, you also can find arrows. Inexpensive cedar arrows with broadheads, steel broadheads that you can sharpen, already on there for a very, very affordable price. So check out your bow, your arrows on eBay. Like I said, you'll probably be more able to make a purchase on eBay than I would. So yeah, give that a try. And of course, targets, when I was a kid, we shot into bales of hay. A $5 bale of hay rather than a $200 3D target. And maybe you can get a cardboard image of a deer and stick some spikes through it to hold it to the bale of hay and get back 15 yards and start throwing arrows at it. Yeah, great fun. Get back 20 yards, see how you'll do. Yeah, that'd be a great way to get started with the recurve and the arrows and your broadhead. All right, so that brings us to some more things that you may desire or need when you go bow hunting, and one is camo. What about camo? Yeah, I don't remember when camo became so important, but it has a certain level of importance. But it's not what I would call way up here. The most important thing in my view when it comes to archery hunting and hunting as a whole is time in the woods. That is your greatest asset. Becoming a woodsman, becoming an outdoorsman, becoming a naturalist, learning about the animal that you're pursuing in a personal, intimate way. And becoming a biologist by virtue of association with that animal, right? And yeah, archery hunting will do that for you. And camo won't. However, we used to have Army surplus stores here. I don't think there's one here. We used to buy the old camo jacket and the camo pants. And yeah, that's what we went hunting in. I don't know why that's such a bad thing. But a good pair of Carhartt pants that you can wear to work, why can't you wear those hunting? And yeah, I wear a dark drab green shirt. I have expensive camo. I bought it to go out west and go elk hunting, but yeah, I typically don't reach for it until it gets cold. And here in Florida, it's hot. So yeah, long pants, long sleeve shirt with the t-shirt underneath in brown, green. Yeah, don't worry about the camo. Go with what you have. Match your surroundings as best you can and hunt from inside the cover and you'll be fine. And of course, I've always been preaching snake boots. Snake boots can be extremely expensive. What are we going to do about the snake boots? Well, you can go to Rural King or you can go to Tractor Supply and you can buy a pair of rubber boots and stick those Carhartt pants right down in that. Rubber boots will give you the protection that you can need. Maybe not as good as knee-high, right? Knee-high snake boots, good rocky snake boots. They need to be a goal. But if you had good rubber boots, yeah, just watch your step and know that, yeah, there's snakes out there. That's your greatest snake boot, is just the knowledge. and wear rubber boots. So when you have to go somewhere that your deer ran off after you shot it, you got to go. You've got the protection of the rubber boots. Okay, rubber boots are inexpensive, and just don't buy a pair that's too tight. Buy a loose fit, because I bought a pair one time that was too tight, and I thought, for some reason I thought I could break them in, but you can't break in rubber boots. Rubber boots will constantly squeeze your feet if they're too small. And once I put socks on, they were too small. I thought they fit good and snug, but really what they were doing was constricting my feet all day long, and I just got to where I couldn't wear them anymore. But loose-fitting rubber boots with a good pair of socks are sufficient, okay? And will be helpful to you, when we're learning about snakes, instead of the expensive snake boots. Now, what about a tree stand? Well, don't I need to buy a tree stand? Well, it wouldn't be a bad idea to have a tree stand if you were so inclined, but nothing says you have to have a tree stand. Here's an idea. Here's something that I've done in the past. I know other people have too. They take a chair. They take one of those little, what I call them, church chairs, folding church chairs. You can buy them at Big Lots or whatever, and they're very inexpensive. You can build yourself a little blind out in the woods with palm fronds and put that chair, lay it down on the ground when you're gone, maybe cable lock it to the tree so no one steals it, right? Because you don't want to walk out there and then have it be gone. And you just go ahead and lock it up. And sit in a church chair in a blind that you made until you can afford to buy a tree stand. Or you can do like I did. When I was 17 years old, we drove to the packing house, me and my buddies, and we got picking ladders. We lived in citrus country. We got picking ladders from Tie Fry Packers in Umatilla. Bill Fry there gave us 5-foot ladders that were supposed to be repaired, and the bottoms were busted, and he gave us just what we needed to make ladder stands, and we made wooden ladder stands. There were no climbing stands in those days, and very few people were welding together ladder stands. There were no climbing stands. We had ladder stands made of wood and plywood, and that's what we did, and that's what we had. And we had very little money invested in our tree stands, and we would tie a chain around it and hook it, and there you go. We left it out in the woods, and some of them are still out there today, rotting and all hanging off the trees. You've seen them. Tree stand. You can make your own, which is pretty cool. I've made my own many times. Or you can put yourself a church chair and make yourself a blind, leave it and go hunt the same spot several times until you're ready to move on to another. But that works fine. So those are my ideas. Get yourself a recurve bow and some arrows and broadheads. I saw a guy on TV promoting a broadhead, and I went online and looked at them. There were 3, and they were nearly $300. You don't need that. I use a Woodsman. I use a Woodsman broadhead of 125 with a 100-grain brass insert on the end of my arrow. Give it that heavy front end. And my camo clothing, if you look at some of my pictures on Instagram, you'll see I'm wearing blue jeans. I know, I'm wearing blue jeans. And of course your snake boots, rubber boots, and don't sacrifice going bow hunting. Even if it's 2 or 3 trips afield per archery season, if you want to go, you should invest yourself in doing it. You won't be sorry. And you don't have to spend a whole lot of money. You can figure out how. Again, with the recurve, bought on eBay. Go to the Army Surplus store or the thrift store. See what they've got. Maybe you'll find a pair of snake boots at the thrift store. It's an idea. All right. We love you guys. Again, we are practicing and learning how to become better bow hunters. And that also takes us to the financial end of things. We can't throw money at this. You throw money at it, you'll be disappointed. You'll spend money and you won't get your deer. The guy that spent almost nothing did it like this. He kills a deer first try. That's the way the world is. That's the way hunting is. All right, love you guys. We'll talk to you soon. See you. Bye.